समय डबल लाइट नहीं, लेकिन सदा मनसा वाचा संबंध संपर्क में डबल लाइट हल्का हल्की चीज अच्छी लगती है, वह बोझ वाली चीज अच्छी लगती है। क्या अच्छा लगता है? हल्का पसंद है ना? फरिश्तार्थात जो सर्व का दोनों का नहीं, सर्व का प्यारा और न्यारा हो। सिर्फ प्यारा नहीं, जितना प्यारा उतना ही न्यारा हो। फरिश्ता की निशानी है, वो सर्व का प्रिय होगा। अच्छा,
Om Shanti. Welcome to Vyakti Parivar. Today's day 18. The personality of purity, double light, pure soul. Now we will listen to Mohini Didi.
Om Shanti, everyone. Today I have many friends with me. I was counting, there are 8 of them. So I will have all 8 powers now. Yes, Baba is saying that we have to remain double light when there are problems, right? Not only while sitting, but when we are in action. Actually, my reflections during Baba's remembrance was, which actually started since 2 days, but it's like becoming more and more clear. As I was sharing, I think yesterday, or that how our awareness has to be 100% pure. That's really the purity is. That means that nothing from past or difficulties or anything just emerges in awareness. And then the blessing which we read, we get from Baba every morning in Murli. Now, every point of knowledge, every blessing has to change into awareness. Because if I have to become, I have to be that. That means, like today, whole day, I was thinking and not necessarily had a lot of experience, but Baba said, consider yourself to be a guest. Then your activity will be elevated and your stage will be very high, and you will experience the stage of being beyond. No, that was blessing. So we create the awareness few times a day and see how I feel. Okay, I'm a guest now. And especially when Baba says soul is guest in the body. So how do I feel when I think I'm a soul guest in the body? So one is believing in the result, believing in the attainments. Other is to experience that. That is true when I consider myself to be a guest. What were my feelings and what were the changes I was experiencing? Or same were so many points every morning in the morning. And today in the morning, generally I first listen morning 4:45 in Hindi, then I listen again, then I make notes. And it was very beautiful that I was kind of thinking about one or two, about this soul, something more, they should have something. And then Baba said, you shouldn't be thinking about anyone. And I said, but I'm not thinking waste, but still I'm thinking of other. So I said, no, I have to just think of my own self. So I'm just giving that immediately, like if I accept it and make it awareness. So my attention had been really lot drawn towards seeing that not only purity in awareness, but also creating awareness based on Baba's blessings and Baba's knowledge, because from there the effort begins, right? Or reality begins, is that awareness then becomes my attitude. Right? So if my awareness is based on knowledge, then what will be the attitude? Hmm. So one is to generally do inculcations, other is based on the purity, based on the knowledge. And then from that attitude, then drishti emerges. Hmm. And from that drishti, Baba says, actions emerge. So from Simriti, I have to become Sarup. I have to be embodiment. So then I was thinking that how much more work is left, right? Do you think that we have all whatever we listen from Baba as part of Simriti? Like today there was a little bit talk on being worship worthy. So we hear and we accept and we know that I was worship worthy soul. So if I am worship worthy soul, Baba said, every worship worthy soul is the great soul and also brings lot of love and light in the world. So in the morning, like staying in this awareness of I am worship worthy soul. But for what souls worship, no? Why God said goddesses are worshipped? If you make, there is a long list. They want blessing, they want their desires to be fulfilled, they want obstacles to be removed. So many, that you can make a long list of. So if I am worship worthy soul, am I able to do all that? Mhm. And it's very interesting because if we really making in effort and effort, it's enjoyable, it's entertaining. Also, you feel real. It's not only I'm just trying to create one type of consciousness, but if I just keep aim that I have to create knowledge of every point of knowledge has to become my awareness. And so today, when I was thinking about guests, I had few reflections, but not necessarily, a little bit of being beyond. And Baba said, not only lovely, but also detached, but not exactly. So I have to work on that still to really feel it, that I am as a soul guest in this body. So if I'm practicing all day, now what I have learned is that when I say, Baba says, attention really is attention on what am I practicing this morning's blessing? Am I practicing this morning's poem? So when that attention is there, you receive something, but there is no tension. Otherwise, you lose few hours and then you say, "Oh, I really didn't do much effort." And now is the time, especially while doing actions, while being a karma yogi. Like Baba said, angel is not when you just sit and say, "I'm angel," but when you have problems, then remaining double light and be angel. So I always remember the scene of one or two from Pandavavan in olden days. Some of you remember, those who were there at that time, that in history hall, behind history hall, there's a little space there where daddies used to gather after lunch, and they will have chairs, and they will really kind of have fun, and they are eating fruits, and so they don't. I look at them and I said, whole organization there, and every letter they read, everything, so many problems still there. But how can they just be so light and enjoying and having fun? And they used to call some of us, and I used to be often there. So after Brahma Bhojan, they all will sit. In India, in different philosophy, but after lunch they have proper plate of fruits. All the fruits. And these days we say eat fruit separate morning, but that's how our tradition had been. So at that time they used to invite me to come, and same is like Dadi Prakashmani, Dadi Gulzar, mm, Dadi Janki. Those daddies were there. I always saw that why they are so light. They are aware of what is happening, and they are aware of different obstacles, but they're not happy about it. So I always try to see how it is possible, because yes, I can say that I remain light, but I cannot say that there is no, like now with this new responsibility, we already got involved into many kinds of issues, and so on Zoom we try to work out. And then I say, well, we are not in our world, foreign land, there are not so much of all that. And, brothers are with us, but they respect sisters very much. And of course, true, there too, because when Nirvar Bhai, Brijban Bhai is putting us, to take responsibilities, it's the love and the trust, definitely. But still, these kinds of issues come up. And so I keep reminding myself, just be double light. So on one side, you feel kind of responsibility. And for me, only method I use is spiritual. And I feel that if souls can truly engage in efforts, their intellect, their mind is in efforts, they will not behave or do something if they are doing it. But because there is no effort, it's here too. If my mind and intellect is not engaged in efforts, then it will create some kind of, it will get in conflict, it will get into criticism or certain behaviors which are not really accepted as Baba's children. But, it happens. But how knowing everything, that is always remain double light. Now, mostly we describe soul and then we say mind, intellect, sanskars. But actually, there are two important things. in the soul is light and might. Because it's the light and might, and within that, what functions as abilities are mind, intellect, and sanskars, right? So light actually is light of purity. Whether you go to incorporeal world or then you descend and you have status and relationships in golden age, all that is the light, based on the light. So sanskars are not visible. I mean, light is not visible through these eyes, but yes, I think Baba can see. Mm. And it's there, the purity, that means as much you have been able to remove your alloy, as much you have become like, in the sense of your rust has been removed, it's clean, pure. That much light is brighter, right? Power also is not visible, but light is. So as much I keep increasing purity, really purity, pure, pure, where I am just clean, not have anything, any thought for any soul which is not what we call as good wishes and pure feelings. So that deep lightness comes from increasing the quality and the percentage of purity. And that's the lightness I saw. Once there was a situation in Delhi in Pandavavan. So Dadi Gulzar was in, Pandavavan. We all were together. So Dadi Janki and I thought that we should just go to her and tell her, it's okay, it will get resolved. And so we went to her and we said, Dadi, you're not concerned. No. She said, my father doesn't worry. Why will I worry? And that really stayed with so much. It's true that Baba knows this is happening in the family or, outside center, something big was going on. That Baba is not worried. Why I will worry? So how do, at least for me, I keep taking from what our ancestor souls did, and of course applying the knowledge to keep awareness pure so that there is no even subtle heaviness. It might not be very bad in the sense of heaviness as unhappiness or sadness or disappointment. Many talk about disheartenment, but maybe very subtly. So for me, I keep looking for such points, such practices, and also just keep bringing the memories, the time I spent with ancestor souls. But also, one of why we had been showing a lot on Omanli and Brahma Baba, because to me, every Baba's new child should connect with the roots and they should experience what the yagya and how it started. So then one of the picture which they show in this Adidev book, which we are, every Monday we do a chapter, that Baba is standing on fifth floor and on the road they have picketing, right? You see all these young girls and their relatives just want to take them away. And Baba said, yes, you can, because Baba said, go back and take them. And then anyone who comes have to bring the letter. Because first they just left homes and they were some with parents, and most of them came with auntie or mother or father or someone, but not necessarily they had letters, even if they came with one of the family members. So Baba said, okay, you all go. But they said, no, we don't want to go. But Baba said, go and bring letter. No, so little system changed there. But Baba is watching all that picketing, right? One side anti-party standing, other side these little young girls are standing, and Baba is smiling. So I sometimes I pretend I said, and I'm seeing something like that. Will I be smiling? Mm, or I will say what's going to happen. And mm, we had some situations very serious in the beginning when BKs were not very well recognized. And so one place near Delhi, something happened. So public was annoyed. And when they are annoyed, they were planning to get rid of, how BKs shouldn't be in this town. So one time what they did, they put all their stuff in the truck, so that means when they come, there is nothing in the house, so they will leave. And Jagdish Bhai was there, and I was involved because we were near Delhi, few hours. And so it became political issue, and lot was going on. And our dadis, I don't remember the name who were there. They were so much like light in the sense of that even those officers and those who were in favor of them, or even those who were against them, they looking at them, they say, they're not concerned, their all baggage have gone in the truck, almost crossing Delhi border, going out of Delhi. They said send far, so they can't reach it. And here they have nothing, they are on the road almost. But they're sitting very double line because they knew that in this scene of drama, now there is another better scene, because immediately a very nice, noble person came and said, oh, I have a very big house. You all just come. You don't need furniture, anything. It's a furnished, it's a guest house I keep for guests. So you all come and be my guests. You will get food and everything. So they got something better, no, because they didn't have to pay rent or anything. So deeply within their trust in that next scene of drama also is beneficial, and we will get something better. Now, this is their power, not the faith, which is bringing the lightness. Many, many times I saw such kind of situation in the beginning of Yagya, many times. Even when I met them, I was 11, and all daddies were in their 30s. They used to come, my grandparents' home lot. And looking at them, they have nothing, and but they were bright and smiling. And so, what kept them double light under all circumstances? It was not one. I have seen so many opposition, abuses, insult, deformation, but everyone I saw was bright and smiling, and that's why actually we were so inspired also to see how they could remain double right. And also because when we are double light, the way our power to discern works is very important. Mm. I know that once we had taken few guests from UN, and there was different continents, different guests. So we travel in train, and those days we used to go from Delhi to Abu Road, and there was like no, we mentioned in old trains. So this size room compartment, even little bigger, will also have toilet, everything. So we used to book one. So like 4 seats and 4 people together. So we left Mount Abu. So one of the guests said, but I didn't take my passport. I had, so other three, there were 2 from US, 1 from Africa. Others said, but we're not going to go back for your passport and miss our train. So they all looked at me and I said, I looked at the clock. I had a lot of experience, years of traveling from Abu Road to Mount. I said, if you all agree, we could definitely go back, get our passport, and we will still get train, I guarantee. So they said, okay, you are our host, we trust you. Went back and we got the passport, we came back, and of course, we were able to get in the train. So in the train, this main guest, she was the chief of NGOs at that time, said, Sister Mohini, I was watching you, whatever she had to say. But then when we came back to New York, there was some conflict, certain issues in NGOs. So every time she will call me, can you come and tell us what quality is required, how we can resolve it, how we can. And then she said, because she noticed whenever there was some kind of, difficult choices, the way you decided and discerned, it really, I was very amazed. So I'm just giving example that when we remain double light in situations, and then our power to discern works very well, then we are able to accomplish what we have to do it very peacefully. And that is where the souls, other souls, whether they are lockic or alokik, because they observe very much, right? So service or even for the self, remaining double light. Once I was landed in Delhi, so something wrong was like we were not getting luggage. So it was midnight. So I just went in a corner and I just wanted to relax. So, but everyone was angry, upset, and they making big noise. When will luggage come? What will happen? What has happened? And I was just sitting. I said, so I think two Air India officers came to me and said, how could you sit so quietly? You are so calm. So I said, what will happen? Do I shout? Will come it faster? What will happen by my reaction? It has to come. It has to come. So anyway, and also I am giving lot of vibrations that wherever it is stuck, it will start coming and then start coming. So, and they're still in contact, of Air India. So what I'm saying is that when Baba says be double light, and if we become the embodiment and if we practice, but that's angelic stage, right? We think angelic is when I sit, there is light all around, right? Oh, I saw light, you are an angel. But then when I'm in a situation, there is no light, right? So what am I that time? So these days, what Baba is saying that I have to be angelic whole day while doing actions in relationships. Every minute there is the choices. You have to discern what is right. And so it requires a kind of awareness, then implementation. And then you really feel that you are moving forward and it's much better than before. And you also feel that one day, as Baba wants us 100%, that will also happen. But I see everything, all this, from purity. Because as much there is purity, then lightness and power to discern and the virtues emerge at the right time, right power emerge. And all that is happening because of purity. So we are still celebrating, about to celebrate Rakhi. So reflect and look into how there can be more and more percentage of purity. Om Shanti.
जितना अंतर्मुख होंगे उतना गंभीर प्रकृति। मैं ये नहीं कहती हूँ कि खुश नुमा नहीं हो, नहीं, चेहरा खुशनुमा हो, दिल खुशनुमा हो, बुद्धि खुशी में हल्की हो, लेकिन प्रकृति चंचल नहीं। इन दोनों बात के बीच अंतर है। किसकी प्रकृति चंचल होती उसको आदत कहेंगे, और खुशनुमा रहना ये गुण है, और चंचलता ये आदत। तो आदत मिटानी है, परंतु दैवी गुण की खुशी का, हर्षित चित्त का चेहरा सदा। इसी प्रकार हम सेवा करेंगे, रूहानियत में रह के सेवा करो, खूब सेवा करो, दिल से करो, तन से करो, मन से करो, धन से करो, सेवा करो, लेकिन सेवा के साथ साथ रूहानियत भी हो। तो रूहानियत की छाप लगेंगी, सिर्फ टाक की छाप नहीं लगेंगी। कहेंगे ये पंडित, हमें पंडित बन करके नहीं सेवा करनी है, परंतु रूहानियत से सेवा। जितना आप लोग अपने रूहानियत से रहेंगे उतना दैवी गुण ऑटोमेटिकली है। जो रूहानियत में रहता उसमें सब गुण, सच बोलने की ऑटोमेटिकली आदत होगी, सदा सच्चा रहेगा, सदा साफ दिल रहेगा, सदा प्योर दिल रहेगा, सदा स्नेही रहेगा। कभी किसी से नफरत करना, किसकी गिलानी करना, किसी का अवगुण देखना बुद्धि जाएंगी नहीं। कहेंगे ठीक, मुझे अपनी पढ़ाई से काम। जिसको हम कई बार एक दूसरे में वर्णन करते, देखो फलानी फलाना है, कुछ भी हो, उनकी बुद्धि किन इन बातों में जाती नहीं। वो बातों में नहीं जाता, पर बाबा की लात में। तो हमें बातों में नहीं जाना है, पर बाबा की याद की लात में है। तो बातें और लात, इस दोनों में अंतर है। हमें बातों में नहीं टाइम गंवाना है, पर बाबा की लवली लात, वो लात ही हमका ऐसी स्थिति रखेंगे जैसे दीवे की लाट रहे। ये हमारा अटेंशन अपने पर सदा रहना चाहिए। तो उससे क्या हो जाएगा कि जो मनसा कभी कभी व्यर्थ बातों में जाती, वो नहीं। इसके लिए ये बाबा ये साल हमें बहुत बड़ा वरदान का साल दिया कि सेवा करो। लेकिन इस साल में बाबा ने कहा सेवा से भी ज्यादा अपने में शक्ति करो।
Om Shanti. Welcome to Vyakti Journey, Mama's Murli, the image of purity with the heart of gold.
नैनों के पलने में जो पालना दी मम्मा, नैनों के पलने में जो पालना दी मम्मा, और दृष्टि से लोरियां सुनाई तूने।
नजरों से सहलाया, प्यार से बहलाया, नजरों से सहलाया, प्यार से बहलाया, जिंदगानी लाखों की बनाई तूने। नैनों के पलने में जो पालना दी मम्मा, नैनों के पलने में जो पालना दी मम्मा।
कि हम बच्चों का बेहद का बाप दर्द जान कर करके उसके इलाज करने के लिए आया है ना। हमारे पास कौन सा दर्द है? दर्द का मतलब है दुख है, शांति। आज की दुनिया में दुख है, शांति है ना। तो दुख है, शांति क्यों है? किस कारण है? उसी दुख है, शांति के दर्द को जानने वाला एक ही है, क्योंकि उसके पास ही इलाज है। वही हमारे सदा सुख और शांति देने वाला बाप है। इसीलिए उसे गाते हैं नहीं, सुखदाता शांति दाता। तो दर्द को भी तो वही जानेगा नहीं। मनुष्य इसका इलाज नहीं कर सकेंगे। मनुष्य टेम्पररी, वो टेम्पररी शांति, टेम्पररी के लिए कुछ थोड़ा बहुत मिल जाए, वो बातें अलग है। लेकिन ये सदा काल का मतलब ही है कि फॉर जनरेशंस, आदि मध्य अंत। आदि मध्य का भी मतलब है शरीर लेते, शरीर में रहते, शरीर छोड़ते, सदा सुख, उसको कहा जाता है सदा काल सुख। तो ऐसा सुख फॉर जनरेशंस के लिए सवाय परमात्मा के और कोई नहीं दे सकता है। इसीलिए बाप कहते हैं तुम्हारे इस दर्द को, ये तुम्हारी ये दुख शांति क्यों आई है तुम्हारे पास, किसने तुमको ये दर्द दिया है वो मैं जानता हूँ, मैंने नहीं दिया है। हा? ये भगवान के ऊपर रख लेते नहीं, भगवान ने दुख दिया, भगवान ने सब दिया है। वो कहते हैं मैं कैसे बच्चों को ये दर्द दूंगा। हाँ, ऐसा कोई बाप देखा कभी कि बच्चों को दुखी करे? हाँ, जब ये लौकिक बाप भी कभी बच्चों को दुखी नहीं कर सकता है, मैं तो परलौकिक बाप हूँ। हाँ, तो परलौकिक बाप कैसे बच्चों को दुखी करेगा? कभी आप बाप हो, देखो कितने बाप यहाँ बैठे हैं, आप कभी अपने बच्चों को दुखी करते हो? हाँ, अपनी तरफ से कोशिश नहीं करेंगे दुखी करे। हाँ, कर्म के हिसाब से कोई किसको दुख होगा तो उसमें आप क्या करेंगे? आप कोशिश करेंगे, आप तो और या बीमार पड़ेगा बच्चा, इलाज करेंगे, कोई दुख आएगा उसके निवारण का यत्न करेंगे। बाकी ऐसे तो नहीं बाप बच्चे को दुख देगा। तो जब लौकिक बाप भी, शरीर का जन्म देने वाला पिता भी कभी अपने बच्चे को दुख देने का सोचता नहीं है। वो सदा यही सोचता है कि बच्चा सुखी बने, बच्चा लायक बने, बच्चा होशियार हो, सदा सुखी रहे। ऐसे ही बाप का भावना रहती है ना। तो जब शरीर के जन्म देने वाले पिता के पास भी ऐसी भावना, वो तो हमारे आत्मा का रूहानी, उसको ही कहा जाता है सचा पिता। तो वो हमारे परम पिता हमको कैसा दुख देगा? तो वो दुख नहीं देता। ये हमको दुख अथवा दर्द किसने दिया है? माया ने। अभी तो वो बुद्धि में आ गई है नहीं बात कि हमको ये दुख दर्द किसने दिया? माया ने। माया कौन है अभी जान गए ना अच्छी तरह से। हाँ, माया का अर्थ अभी अच्छी तरह से बुद्धि में है कि 5 vices, इसको कहेंगे माया। माया कोई शरीर को नहीं कहेंगे। हाँ, माया कोई प्रकृति तत्वों को नहीं कहेंगे। 5 प्रकृति तत्व अलग चीज है, उनको माया नहीं कहेंगे। उनको माया समझते हैं कि जो भी आंखों से देखते हैं ना, ये शरीर देखते हैं आंखों से, ये भी माया। और जो भी कुछ इस आंखों से दिखाई पड़ता है संसार का, ये सब माया है। इसीलिए कहीं इसको ऐसा समझ करके समझते हैं, इसी से कहा ऐसा कोई ठिकाना हो जो इस शरीर में ही ना आवे, ऐसा कहा लीन हो जाए जहाँ से लौटे नहीं। ऐसे ऐसे उपाय बेचारे सोचते हैं, परंतु ये बात नहीं है। ये शरीर कोई माया नहीं है। शरीर में तो देवता भी थे, शरीर तो भगवान भी लेता है। हाँ, तभी तो उसका कहन गाया जाता है ना। तो उसको भी प्रकृति का आधार लेना पड़ता है, तो आत्मा को भी शरीर का आधार लेना ही पड़ता है। तो वो तो बातें नहीं है, इसको माया नहीं कहेंगे। माया एक अलग चीज है। वो कौन सी है? ये 5 vices। तो ये 5 विकार माया है। ये कोई ऐसी चीज जरूरी नहीं है कि इनके बिना हमारा जीवन या इनके बिना हमारी दुनिया नहीं चलेगी। ये तो हमारे दुख के ही कारण है। जब से माया का टाइम आया, राज चला, तब से दुख होना शुरू हुआ। बढ़ते 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 आज देखो ये रावण राज, वो रावण बढ़ता जाता है। और रावण को बना करके उसका बोता है भुजिया जलाते हैं नहीं, बड़े 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 बड़े। हाँ, तो अभी वो बरस बरस जलाते हैं। बाप कहते हैं बरस बरस जलाते हैं, परंतु जलता नहीं है। 5 विकार जलते हो तो जलाते रहते हैं बरस बरस फिर, परंतु नहीं, ये तो प्रैक्टिकल जलाना है ना। अर्थात पांचों विकारों को खत्म करना है। इसीलिए कहते हैं इसको नाश करने के लिए मैं जानता हूं कि इसको कैसे नाश करूं, तो इसका उपाय मैं आकर के बतलाता हूं। तो अभी उपाय बुद्धि में अच्छी तरह से आ गया है ना कि इसका उपाय कौन सा है। उपाय भी सहज है, कोई इसके लिए और भी कोई हठ योग प्राणायाम चलाना या कोई भी कुछ भी नहीं, बड़ा इजी कि बस उस बाप के हो जाओ। जैसे लोग इस तरह से भी कोई धनवान हो और धनवान कहे कि मेरा बच्चा, मुझे बच्चा नहीं है, मेरा बच्चा बनो, तो बस जिस समय बच्चा बना तो वो भी धनवान हो जाएगा ना, बच्चा भी कहेगा मैं भी लखपति। बस कोई लखपति का बच्चा बना तो वो भी उसी सेकंड कहेगा मैं भी लखपति, क्योंकि मैं हेयर पेरेंट हो गया ना, मैं भी लखपति। तो देखो सेकंड में कोई गरीब का बच्चा, शाहूकार का गोद का बच्चा, एडॉप्टेड चिल्ड्रन बनने से वो भी लखपति। तो बाप कहते बच्चे मैं भी तो तुम्हारा असली पिता हूं ना, तुमने मेरे से रिश्ता रिलेशन छोड़ दिया है, अभी फिर मेरे से रिलेशन रखो। मेरे बच्चे बनने से तुम भी तो जो मेरी प्रॉपर्टी है उसका तुम भी हकदार हो जाएंगे, और ऐसे हकदार बनने से तुम सदा सुख शांति को प्राप्त कर, क्योंकि मेरा तो हक तुमको सुख शांति का मिलेगा, मेरा हक कोई दुख का थोड़ी है, सुख का है।
शासन प्रशासन अनुशासन ऐसा देखा ना सुना हो किसी ने वैसा। तेरी मीठी मीठी बोली
जैसे कोई बाटे टोली, तेरी मीठी मीठी बोली जैसे कोई बाटे टोली, दुनिया सारी दिल में समाई तूने।
नैनों के पलने में जो पालना दी मम्मा, नैनों के पलने में जो पालना दी मम्मा,
और दृष्टि से लोरियां सुनाई तूने।
Om Shanti. So, as I had mentioned, that we'll be having a special homework for our Rakhi. So, it's the 3 days homework. So, I would like to invite Angel Sister Gayatri, and she will be able to explain us what we'll be doing for next 3 days. Welcome, Sister Gayatri.
Thank you. And I am pleased to share with you these 3 days of practice for preparation for Raksha Bandhan. I know some of you celebrated it this morning and some of you would have celebrated it before, but the official day for Raksha Bandhan is Sunday. So the 3 days practice is actually from tomorrow, August 19th, to Sunday, August 22nd. So if we spend all day tomorrow, Thursday, all day Friday, and all day Saturday with the practice, then on Sunday we celebrate. So that would make sense. So if we go to slide 2, which is Arjuna's arrow. So the theme of the practice is Arjuna's arrow. And Arjuna's arrow is the elevated and determined thought. So we will be focusing, the practice actually focusing on cleanliness within our thought. And I'm using this term Arjuna's arrow because Arjuna had this concentrated and determined aim, and I'm sure it's connected to his thought. So slide number 3, which is inspiration. So where did the inspiration come from? It came from Baba's Abhyakt Murli of February 28, which was 2 Sundays ago, and 1988. So I would advise you to reread this Murli once for the 3 days, if not more. And I want you to look at the practice within this Murli and the inspiration that came from the Murli. So if we were to look at Arjuna's bow, now Arjuna's bow was more famous than Arjuna's arrow. So Arjuna's bow, which this famous word, Gandiva, The spiritual context that I'm inviting you to look at the bow with is the gift of the divine intellect. If we were to see the intellect as the bow, and Baba described the intellect in that Murli as subtle, stable, unshakable, clean, clear, broad, and unlimited. So these are all qualities of our bow, Arjuna's bow, that Gandiva that could do wonders. Because remember, the arrow is coming from the bow. The arrow wouldn't get to the target unless that bow was very stable, and that's the intellect. Then the arrow is our pure and elevated thought, that determined thought and elevated thought. And that's where the cleanliness will be. It will be the power of that pure, determined, elevated thought. So the cleanliness is now being focused, as well as the intellect. The focus is on the cleanliness within the thought. And then, of course, combined with the thought would be our pure feelings, which Baba described as a generous heart. So if we look at the arrow, it would be the thought, of the cleanliness of the thought and the cleanliness of the feeling combined. So could we have slide 4, please? So what's the intention? The intention of this cleanliness of Arjuna's arrow and Arjuna's bow is to have divine protection. And so Rakhi is the opportunity for us to recall the fundamentals of purity as the foundation of being content, happy, free from obstacles, and being close to Baba. So this is what Baba was saying. If there's cleanliness in our thoughts and generosity in our hearts, that's the foundation for the kind of purity that would make us content and happy, free from obstacles, and being close to Baba. And that in itself is divine protection. So that's the intention behind the practice. So slide number 5. So what are we going to be paying attention to? What's the stage we want to have? So I think this title of being a master archer, I've been very fascinated by the sport of archery and the qualities that the master archer is called upon to have. And I think why Baba calls us Arjuna is because we are master archers when it comes to the soul. And so I'll read a little excerpt from the Murli that Baba said in relation to being, what we have to pay attention to and why he's drawing our attention to thoughts. He says that you have taken a divine birth, and he was talking to double foreigners and telling them one of their specialties was this cleanliness and the power of thought. So the context he set for that was, you have taken a divine birth through Brahma Baba's elevated thoughts and elevated thoughts of invocation. In the same way, because you are the special creation created through elevated thoughts, you pay special attention to making your thoughts elevated too. So it's a natural inheritance we got from the way we actually were given birth. When attention is paid to thoughts, you very quickly recognize all types of subtle attacks by Maya, and you make effort to transform them and become victorious and try to finish them off quickly. So that's the attention of the master archer. We're taking these words that Baba has said in relation to our thoughts, and we want to become the master archers. So slide 6, we're going to look at the method. What was the method that Baba gave us to do this? And he told us to pay good attention to cleansing the power of thought. And he gave us 5 ways to do subtle checking and changing. So 1, he says, the method is the thoughts would come, clarify them, and let them go. Secondly, he said, with realization, place the thoughts in front of Bapdada or in front of the instruments with a clean heart. Third, he says, make the mountain, which means the intensity of the thoughts, if they are intense, into pieces of cotton wool and make sure, he was saying, that we don't accumulate rubbish in the intellect. So thoughts tend to leave an impact on the intellect. So we don't want, because that's the bow, remember, that's the Gandiva, and that's going to control the quality of our thoughts. So no rubbish should be there. 4, he says, imbibe divine virtues in the awareness of the cleanliness of your thoughts. So if we see thoughts as a field, and that field is the field in which we will be able to imbibe divine virtues, we should do that as part of the subtle checking and changing. And 5, he says, invoke your divine nature with pure thoughts. So these are some of the five that I drew out of the subtle checking and changing that's connected to the method of paying good attention to cleansing the power of thought. And then the practice, which is Arjuna's arrow. Now, what Baba also said in that Murli about thought was that the power of thought travels extremely fast and arrives very quickly. Remember that? The power of thought. Once I create a thought, my God, it creates a system, and it travels quickly and it arrives quickly, and it always has somewhere to go. Every thought I create has a destination. So within this context of the arrow, of Arjuna's arrow being the power of thought, but also within the canopy of protection, it is said that, according to the myth, that Arjuna was revered as the greatest archer of all time. And he owned this celestial bow, which is the intellect now, called the Gandiva. So one arrow from this mighty bow, so one thought from this intellect, this divine intellect that Baba has gifted us, has the potential to destroy the negative forces and to create a canopy of protection. And we all know the story about Arjuna using his arrows to create a canopy so that the Indra couldn't rain on the fire in the forest. So there was a kind of a conflict between these two elements of the fire and water, Agni and Indra. And so they complained to Arjuna, and it showed that the power of thought is more powerful than the power of the elements. Because then, in order to bring peace and to do what was necessary, Arjuna created this canopy of arrow so that Indra couldn't put the fire out. So it's the same thing, that our power of thoughts, if we use the method and the practice, would create this canopy with a potential to destroy the negative forces and protect us. And then slide 8 for the 3 days. In doing the practice, I'm suggesting that every hour with attention, practice being an archer like Arjuna, and let the arrows of thought aim. And you know, when you have this board that you're aiming the arrow at when you're practicing archery, they have something that's called a bullseye. So replace that bullseye with Baba's eye. That means the centerpiece, the center, Shiv Baba, that point of light, or Brahma Baba's eyes with the point of light in the center of his forehead. So for 3 days, every hour, 60 seconds or 1 minute, practice your archery skills with the arrows of your thought coming from your bow of the intellect. And, target it to the center of that board. Don't go into the expansion. Don't go into the Iron Age. Don't go into the Copper Age. Don't go into the Silver Age. Don't go into the Golden Age. Stay with the confluence, and in the confluence, Baba's eye, aim for that with that one thought every minute in the hour, 1 minute every hour, 60 seconds, practice this. This is the call for the 3 days with the aim of cleansing the power of thought. And then use these following steps, because Baba told us what we should be doing. And so I'm giving you a few steps that would help you in the actual practice. So I would repeat some of what I already said in closing. So the following steps are actually 5 steps that you would do 1 minute every hour, 60 seconds every hour. So step 1, let the intellect, the Gandiva, the bow, be subtle, clean, and clear. Now, you may not understand subtlety, but at least let it be clean, let it be clear. Let it be stable, let it be steady, let it be unshakable. Let it be in remembrance of only one. Step 2, have a generous heart. Baba was saying a generous heart means to be the embodiment of unlimited soul consciousness. And be detached. Be detached from what? From my limited nature and sanskaras. 3, create now. I'm going to create my thought. I'm going to add power into that arrow. Create an elevated and determined thought filled with zeal and enthusiasm from the heart. Let there be no form of weakness in that thought. Step 4, be an archer like Arjuna and aim the arrow of that thought from the bow of the intellect directly to Baba's eye, the center point of light. And step 5, which I think was so beautiful, in which he says, observe Baba catching that thought. Observe Baba listening to that thought. And then feel Baba filling his love in that thought, his love and his protection. And then let that thought return to me, becoming this protective shield around me to protect me from the influences. And I think this is what Dadiji meant when she said, fill the self with power, fill our lives with power, and so that it could protect us from the influences. So this is the practice, and I hope that Avyakti Parivar will provide it so that you can, on their website or however it could be provided on the Telegram, so that you can go through it and then start this practice tomorrow. All it's asking is one thought to be created in 1 minute of 60 seconds in as many hours as you can for the next 3 days. Enjoy being Arjuna, enjoy your arrows, enjoy your bows, enjoy your generous heart, and stay focused on the centerpiece, that point of light, Baba's eyes. Thank you.
Om Shanti. Thank you so much, Sister Gayatri. I'm sure it's a wonderful, everyone will enjoy. Just to let you all know that today in our email, it will go in English and we will send tomorrow morning in other languages as soon as possible. But just to know that these are the points from our Murli, Avek Murli of Sundays. So all languages have those Murlis anyway. So we'll just put together and we'll try to send as soon as possible in the morning. But English will go tonight. So you will receive an email. Thank you so much. And now let's get our day for the homework for the day. So it's a drill. So let's invite our angel, Sister Shireen. Welcome.
Om Shanti, everyone. Om Shanti, Didi. That was a lot of homework. It's a lot of work. Thank you, Gayatri Ben. And so let's get our homework for tomorrow. Double light, pure soul. I stabilize in the form of the light of the soul and become light. I'm a living Deepak lamp, celebrating a meeting with Deep Raj King of lamps. I'm a double light angel, loving and detached, free from the attractions of the old world. So let's do our drill. Double light, pure soul. I stabilize in the form of the light of the soul and become light. I am a living Deepak lamp, celebrating a meeting with Deepraj, King of lamps. I'm a double light angel, loving and detached, free from the attractions of the old world. I stabilize in the form of the light of the soul and become light. I am a living Deepak lamp, celebrating a meeting with Deepraj, King of lamps. I'm a double light angel, loving and detached, free from the attractions of the old world. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Good night. We will explain you homework in a simpler way also, so that we can do it properly. Now it's getting late, but you can read the email and then tomorrow we will again take up and explain. So good night, everyone. Om Shanti.